Hi, my name is Monica Alford. I am the founder and CEO of Wildside Media. I'm back inside Legacy Sessions today, and I'm very, very excited to be speaking with Jamal Fieldsgreen, who is playing Michael Jackson in MJ the Musical at National Theater. It just opened this week, and it will be at National through September 8th. And before I kick it over to you to say hi, I just have to say this is one of the most special interviews I've been able to do since launching Wildside, because I got to see the play at press night last night, and I was so moved, and it was so incredible. And so to be able to speak to you the next day after, literally, that was like, it might be like top 5 for me. I'm not kidding. And I see a lot of theaters. So this is really special. So thank you for being here. I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So to start, how did you feel about last night? That was the second performance.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So I felt great. I love DC. It's a cool city, of course. You know, it's DC. The audiences here are great. I felt good. It's weird because going into shows, anytime I do a show, I kind of black the audience out. I really don't worry about with all the responsibilities and the assumptions or anything of someone playing him, whether it's I don't think he's going to be able to do it or this and the third. I always just black out the audience and just do my show. Mm-hmm. But it was cool. It was cool. No, I like the audiences here. It's cool.
Yeah. Well, I had shared this a little bit before we started rolling, but it was really amazing to see the different generations of folks that were vibing. And I think that's for anybody who isn't familiar with the show, being able to take Michael when he was between 6 and 10 years old, and then probably early 20s,
early 20s to 32.
Exactly, right. Yeah. So let me back up and explain. So it takes place during right before the Dangerous Tour, getting ready for the Dangerous Tour in 1992. Mm-hmm. But it's really amazing and cohesive the way Jackson 5 years and Quincy Jones years, and also the backstage MTV crew interviewing and prying and everything else. They're interwoven so well, and also characters that go from being your manager to your dad to a very, very creepy, suffocating creature in the Thriller, number, which I want to talk about too, seamlessly, and everybody knows. Like I was mentioning, I have a 7-year-old, and I was talking about Michael Jackson this morning with him and how amazing this play was, and he already knows who he is, but he was. I think he would have understood. Like I think even a 7-year-old would have understood the transitions between roles because it was so well done. Yeah. So it was just so amazing to see someone like my mother sitting next to me, like tears in her eyes about the Jackson 5 years, but then, I have Gen Zs in front of me that know every lyric to every song from everything that happened in like the mid 80s to early 90s, that MJ put out. So
it's very powerful to see how far his influence goes between the generations, older and newer. Like you said, when we have little kids, they didn't grow up with Michael, but they're dancing, they're dressed like him and stuff. It's just, it's cool. It's very humbling to see sometimes,
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also wanted to pick your brain a little bit about the fact that I felt like this was, the quality of a stadium show. I mean, you really embody him so perfectly. And the quality of your cast, the dancers. I heard that the most gorgeous woman in the play, from my estimation, is also your fiance. So,
she is.
Which is amazing. But I mean, you guys you did it like stadium quality. It could have been 1992. Like it really, everybody was transported. But there was also so many layers to the show where you really could understand, what a complex person he was and how much pressure he constantly had and what his dad put him through. But then these father figures that helped him, but constantly to me, it was like, you could feel him suffocating and so much pressure, and he just wanted to be perfect and do everything for everybody else, So
what I love about this show is that we get the chance to show the human being behind the icon.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, he was a human being, but he was at the same time was this colossal artist, one of, if not the best to ever do it. And with that, with anybody, there comes layers. The team on this show, like especially, I always give everyone their flowers. From Chris Wheeldon, our director choreographer, to Rich and Tone Talawega, who work with us. The MJs, they knew MJ, they danced with him, they worked with everybody in the business, from Usher to Chris Brown, Diana Ross, Justin Timberlake, everyone, Backstreet Boys.
It shows.
And then all the way to Lynn Nottage, who wrote the book. That's what I think that really separates this show from a lot of other shows is a lot of jukebox musicals in particular, is the book, the story. It's so well written. It's impeccably written, and with that, we get to see the human being behind the icon, and I think that's the juicy part of the story. Because of course you're gonna get the songs, of course you're gonna get the dance, But yeah, it's just everything just kind of comes together. Then you have the lights and the sound and everything. And no, this is my unbiased opinion. It is a bomb show. It's probably one of the best shows out right now.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, and I think I had mentioned this. I think it was before we were rolling. That I had this father-daughter dynamic in front of me. So my mom and I are big fans of his whole career, but we had this BIPOC father and daughter, and daughter was in her 50s, father was in his early 80s, and they were so emotional the whole time, just like we were. I mean, we cried, but also while like rocking out and dancing as much as we can for being like awkward, half Mexican, half white women, and watching their grooves in front of us. But it was amazing to see every time there was something very subtly included about like something really nasty that Michael's dad said to him about the color of his skin or his ugly nose, or when he had that, I didn't know about the fire that he burned his hair, and then that's how he got addicted to and got addicted to pain medication and all those things. But every time there was a little something, and it was done very subtly. You really, I mean, you had to pay attention. But the two people in front of us and my mom and I were like, whoa, or that, or this one will go, that's right. Like, but it's like, but it was a reaction like, oh, we didn't realize there were so many layers to what he was being put through. And it was done, I don't know, I just thought you did a great job of like, it could have been for TV, and you, were just acting without also basically doing a live concert the entire time. So can you talk a little bit about like the complexities of trying to show that human side while also being like, oh, and now I have to dance and sweat and speak and sing all at the same time as I'm trying to show 20 years of pressure from all my father figures.
Gotta catch my breath.
Pressure.
No, of course. My biggest thing with this is making sure that I portray him as authentically as possible.
Sure.
Being an actor, it's early in my career, but I've played a bunch of different characters and stuff, but what separates this one is this is someone that was written out of thin air. This is a person that walked and breathed on this earth, and their legacy is in your hands for about 2.5 hours, however long the show is. So with that, the biggest thing for me is to always make sure that I'm authentically portraying him to the best of my ability and not impersonating him, or making a character out of him, because I also grew up a big fan of his. I loved him growing up, still do. I used to do Beat It, You Rock My World, best MJ song, favorite MJ song, You Rock My World. You Rock My World, Beat It, Thriller. Growing up in the Bronx, my grandpa used to be my DJ and would play those songs, and I would perform them in my living room for my family. So I also do it for that 5-year-old Jamal that grew up such a big fan of MJ's, it just comes from a place of love, respect, and awareness that someone's legacy is in my hands when I'm going out and performing. I'm not just showing what I can do. I am, but I'm not just showing what I can do as a performer and an actor. Paying homage to someone that opened the door for many people like myself, and paying it forward, so.
Yeah. I mean, that shows the amount of love and respect in the show, and it feels very authentic. It never feels like a caricature, which is really hard to do. When you're playing someone, as I think I said earlier, it's kind of like superhuman because they're just such a big, part of.
This is the hardest thing I've ever done in my career, hands down. So far.
I imagine so. Well, you're killing it. I mean, it was really. I had the opportunity to be at the post show kind of celebration. Your choreographer was there. I didn't get to talk to her, but we were all like, "That's her. She's amazing." We were all like kind of like geeking out from afar. But from an 85-year-old donor, or maybe 8-year-old donor to someone who's my son's age in the bathroom line who was like, "Well, I'm a dancer too, and I really like this show." Like
awesome.
everybody was just raving and saying, like, hands down, top 10, top 5, one of the best shows I've ever seen, and we all consider ourselves theater goers, and da. So I mean, I really think what you're doing is truly remarkable.
Thank you.
I definitely had one or two more quick questions about the show, and then I hear that you might have an album coming out soon that I'd love to talk about. But I wanted to, since you mentioned your family, and what was the reaction the first time they got to see you?
What?
What was that like?
Man, nuts. They were going crazy. They. Of course, I grew up with a single mother, and with that, we grew up with my grandparents because they took care of me the the majority of the day while my mom was working in the city. They were ecstatic. They were through the roof. My grandmother's my biggest fan. She's the president of my fan club. Nana, if you're watching this, I love you. Yeah, they were through the roof. They were excited. They've seen the show so many times. But they were just really, really proud because my journey wasn't easy getting here. You know, I started late compared to most people. I started when I was like 17, 18. When I got to school, I got into school, auditioned for all the top schools in the country, got into 2. Howard was one of them. I didn't go to Howard only because at the time I partied a lot in high school. My mom wanted me to take a leap year at the time, and I didn't want to. And when I went and visited the school in Howard and I got in, I just knew I was gonna flunk out if I went to Howard. I would have gotten caught up in been one of those people that got caught up in the party life and stuff. So went to Hartford in Connecticut. And it was kind of lonely at times because I was outside of my element. I'd never done tap, jazz, or ballet or any of these other classes. And all the colleagues that I went to, my classmates that I went to school with, you know, they've been doing this for like the majority of their lives. But I just stuck to the dream and worked my butt off and booked Hamilton right out of school. I was John Lawrence Philip Hamilton. That's where I met my fiance. And they've just been proud since then. And this was kind of just another moment. This is the reason why I just brought my whole journey into this was they were very, very proud of Hamilton because at the time when I booked Hamilton, it was at the height of Hamilton. And when I got this was like a month originally. This was for Broadway, and this was a month or 2 after they had just won the Tonys, including the Tony for the role of MJ.
Right.
So my family they were just kind of reliving that same joy that they had for Hamilton, and they were just like through the roof. They bought all their tickets. When I debuted on Broadway back in August of 2022, they were all there. They've been to so many of my shows. They're coming to DC at the end of the month.
Oh,
My
cool.
birthday's September 2nd,
Nice.
and we're off that day, but I'll be performing on September 1st, so they're coming through. Yeah, no, my family is proud is actually an understatement. They're proud, and that's all caps.
Yeah,
But,
I love
yeah.
that. That's wonderful. And and you have been playing this role for 2 years, correct?
2 years, yep.
Yes.
Originally
yeah.
on Broadway, I was a standby for MJ and Middle Michael, so basically just understudy. Standbys, basically, they just have to be ready to go on at any given time, whether it's someone's hurt and they go on during the middle of the show or right before the show or whatever. Then I was the alternate for year 1 of the tour. That was 2 shows a week. Now I'm doing it full time. I started full time 3 weeks ago. This is week 3 of full time.
Wow.
Loving
Congratulations.
it. Thank you.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
living the dream.
Yeah. Okay. I know that I have to wrap it up soon, but I did we should give a shout out to Middle Michael and Young Michael.
Got to.
I think you
Got to.
really they were
Yeah.
spectacular, and the 3 of you, or at any point in time when 2 of you were singing together or on stage together, the synergy was just
Yeah.
perfect. So
we have some of the most talented people in the industry. Shout out to my brothers, Eric, Bane, Josiah, Bryce, Brandon, Jordan. We have so many people that also play them behind the scenes, and all of them are equally as talented. So I just had to give a shout out to everybody that does it. Bryson, Way, everybody. Okay.
The cast really is incredible. Yeah. It was really fun also to have like the very few nerdy white guys that were in the cast the end, and they start belting out during that last song, and everybody loves it. That's a really nice touch.
It's a fun moment because also as an audience, you're like, why wouldn't like let's all go crazy? Because at that moment, it's kind of you had the freedom to enjoy the entirety of the show, but at the end, it's really kind of our way of being like, if you didn't feel like you could, now's the time to stand up and jump around and sing if you really want to go crazy.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And DC needs to loosen up. So thank you for being here to help us do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we forgive you even though you didn't go to Howard. Now you get to come back and see us.
I'm back.
So it's great.
It's full circle moments.
Yeah, exactly. So I really loved They Don't Care About Us.
Yes.
Which I know it seemed like a lot of the original score it would I don't know if I'm wrong, tell me. But it seemed like it would be almost like a medley, like that you would be, you know, in rehearsal with a song that everybody knows.
And then it flips in and out, like between like what's going on in the present or in the past, or this type of out of body experience, theater, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But sonically too, it always felt really on brand, and that one. I think that was really sort of showing I keep using the word suffocate. That's just kind of what comes to mind.
Yeah.
But, or, feeling smothered by the press or, you know, like it's just feeling like you're like he was dehumanized and this, you know, MTV reporter trying to get the scoop. And he's like, I just want to make music and do a good job.
He's tired of the BS. You know, just get off my back, you know, leave me alone. They don't care about us. Scream, MJ, you know.
Yeah.
That anger, but how he put it into his artistry, I've always respected that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just shouting that one out because I thought it was a bop.
Of course.
I thought it was cute. I really
you.
like it, you know, and as a member of the media, even though I'm not, you know, like a gotcha journalist by any stretch of the imagination, we have to keep in mind what it's like to be on the other side, you know, and so that was moving to me on a couple levels. But I really want to talk about Thriller, and not Thriller where there was like the teaser Thriller, but like the end. So I don't know that I've ever seen a song performed live as part of a musical that was such a bop where people are like moving, but also like crying or like seeing the pain of the character on stage. It was wild. And having young Michael open it.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, like, and I was like getting in the mood to talk to you today when I was like listening to the original score on the ride over here, and just that opening, just hearing him. But it was right after just sort of seeing the culmination of all that pressure that his dad put him under, and then his dad kind of playing, you know, the creature. I mean, that is like, oof.
It's powerful.
Like, I get goosebumps.
It's one of my favorite numbers in the show. And I have to keep it at that because it's kind of like a nice surprise that we have for the audience.
Yes, sorry, and if I just gave it away.
No, it's fine. No, I don't think you did. No.
I couldn't describe it if I wanted to.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's a dope moment.
Forget everything you just heard.
It's an awesome moment. That's one of my favorite moments in the show, aside from Smooth Criminal. I feel like a superhero doing this role in general, but Smooth Criminal also.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, I'm getting excited. You getting me excited to go do the show tonight.
Like, No, I did. I had a lot of the folks in the audience in front of me where I'm like, come on, it's time. Like everybody was loving it, but I'm like, you can loosen up, DC. I know you want to. I know you want to shake your tail. Yeah, come on. I can see it. You know, it really looks like a little bit shoulders. And I'm like, come on. But Smooth Criminal is definitely one of the moments where everyone was like, nobody could not.
Oh,
you know,
you can't.
Move to that.
You know that bass is right in your heart. It's in your chest. Like the sound system is. We have such a great sound system, lighting. Just come see the show. Come see the show. Yeah.
Well, National Theater is the perfect venue for it, obviously. Okay, so I know that you have a new album coming out, and the single is dropping.
Yeah, so the single's dropping tomorrow. Shoulder. I also go by the name Jay Hassan. Hassan is my middle name. Is one of my middle names. But that's my artist moniker. And I have some music already out. But we have a show. It's with my fiance. She's on as Amber Tierra. We have a video and song dropping tomorrow. And I have a plethora of a lot of music that's dropping in the next few months. I'm getting on my videos. I'm a visual storyteller. I'm also a writer and a director. So I kind of mix everything together. So I direct my own videos. I create my own videos and stuff. I collab with other people, but I write the concepts up for them and stuff. But I have a bunch of videos and singles that are coming out in the next few months. But next one tomorrow, Shoulder. Yeah. Out everywhere.
How would you describe the genre you most fit within, or like who?
Ooh.
I don't want to say like is Michael Jackson one of your inspirations? Probably, maybe.
Oh, of course, yeah. One of my biggest. My sound is all over the place because I love like MJ. Sam Cooke's one of my favorite artists of all time. I grew up with my grandparents, so like I grew up with the old Motown, that old school music. But I would say it's a mixture of pop, R&B, a little bit of hip hop and alternative, and it's all mixed up into one. But I just jump back and forth where you can listen to one, you'd be like, oh, this is more so R&B, or this is more so pop, or this has a little bit of hip hop to it. Yeah. It's a little mixture of all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And so you write all your own.
I write all of my own stuff.
That's amazing. That's very cool.
All my own stuff. Yeah.
And your fiance's name is, you said, Amber.
Amber. Yep.
Do you collaborate a lot on songs together?
We do. We had one that just came out 2 months ago. It's called No Rush, and then we have this one. And people are like, "Are you guys doing a project?" We just coincidentally have 2 singles that we have together, but we collaborate a lot. I write certain words for her. She'll ask me to help her write for stuff. But then she'll end up writing it on her own, and I'm like, you never needed me. But she's like, I do need your help, but it's more so it's support.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's amazing. It's amazing. I think it's very rare that a couple can collaborate on anything, much less creatively, you know, or work together and
I'm thankful.
And not kill each other and still love each other.
I was thinking that last night, like in this industry to have a partner, it's hard. It can be hard.
Yeah. Imagine so.
But it's pretty easy for us, you know. But I think that's just when you know it's the right thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, I know you're a very busy man and you've got lots to do, but thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, seriously, PSA to the world, go see this show. It is incredible.
Come see us.
And how can we follow you on the interwebs?
Yes, of course.
Let's do that.
On Instagram, it's J_Hassan22, or you can just look at my name, Jamal Fields Green. Either or will come up. Twitter, it's Mally22, Mally 22. My nickname's Molly Mall from when I was a kid. TikTok, Jamal's TikTok. And that's really it. But yeah, if you just look up Jamal Fields Green, everything else is linked, and you'll be able to find me.
Wonderful.
And J Hassan for all my music, J.Hassan. You can also follow MJ the Musical at MJ the Musical on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And for the tour, anytime you see us or you want to give us a shout out, just put #MJ the Musical Tour. Come see us.